What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here with another episode of my Sunday Q&A on Monday. And goddamn, what a fucked up weekend, huh? Honestly, I hate putting up these Q&As on any other day besides Sunday because it's the Sunday Q&A. It always has been on my channel, but damn, after Saturday's hypoglycemia scare, I kind of just wanted to hang out, take it easy on Sunday, and since I didn't get a lot of sleep Saturday night, obviously, I woke up later than usual on Sunday, which left me with like absolutely zero time to get a Q&A up for you guys in a timely fashion. So I decided to hold off and wait till today, since these Q&As take like a good 3 to 4 some hours to get ready for you guys. It's easier to just slam out a normal commentary on short notice than it is a full-blown 20-minute Q&A session. I'm sure you guys understand that, but it's a lot more involved than the average video. It can even take me up to an hour just to pick out the questions I want from last week's comment section. But never the motherfucking less. But Monday Q&As work the same way as a Sunday Q&A does. The mechanics are identical. You toss your Q in the comment section down below, and next week, it's possible that I'll be giving you a piece of my A. But how about we get on with the going on? And what's going on is Tom Hopper, who wants to know if there was a huge change in views when I switched games in the past. And honestly, Tom, the best way to answer that is it depends what game you're moving from and the next game that you're moving on to. Some games like Borderlands, it's a lot easier to transition back and forth between something like Destiny because they're both first-person loot and shoot RPGs, albeit both different in their own ways. Don't you guys go crucify me for that! There's enough crossover appeal between the fan bases to make that transition a lot easier. Back in the day, going from something like Fortress Craft to Gotham City Imposters was a huge change. One, because I was still a really new channel, somewhere around like 4,000 subscribers at that point. So going from building, creative megastructures in a Fortress Craft or Minecraft type game at the time to playing a first-person shooter really could have been channel suicide. And for a while, it really looked that way on my channel, especially since a lot of my Fortress Craft vids were, early looks at test builds and upcoming features that we were testing in the alpha build that were going to be coming in the game. I went from like 20,000 views per video, which having 4,000 some subscribers was fucking amazing at that time, back in like 2011, 2012 on the YouTubes, for a 4,000 subscriber channel to be getting 20,000 views per video was nothing short of miraculous. I went to Gotham City Imposters in Battlefield 3 at the time, getting like 500 to 600 views a video starting out, and it could feel super frustrating, especially since I never really had to deal with low views in my YouTube career at that point starting out, because I was one of the first people on YouTube that was putting up Fortress Craft or Minecraft, or what I like to call sandbox games, right? Sandbox, get it? It's a sandbox games with block building, right? Alright, yes. And since I was one of the first people on YouTube putting out content like that, I was getting thousands of views straight out the gate. My first video ever had over 10,000 views in my first week, and the actual quality of that video was just the worst. It literally had like 2 frames per second. There are actually toasters out there now. I know it used to be a joke on YouTube, like, oh, my toaster gets more frames per second than that. There are actually toasters out now that got more frames per second than that fucking video. And it was insane though to put up a video on YouTube and you're just trying to show your friend. You're like, hey dude, check this out. I built the Call of Duty Minecraft house. I mean the Call of Duty estate house in Minecraft, and I fucking linked it to him. And a week later, I checked back. He's like, dude, you need to look at your channel, man. That shit's got a lot of views. And I was like, what? It was absolutely incredible. But you know, changing from Fortress Craft to Gotham City Imposters, I learned a very valuable lesson early on in my YouTube careers, and that's not everything you do will be well received right out the gate. And low views does not mean that you suck. It just means whatever you're doing that's getting less views than before isn't working for you, and you just gotta keep going until you find out what eventually will work for you. So when I started uploading, you know, Gotham City Imposters and it got terrible views, I told myself, okay, all right, maybe the real possibility is you got lucky with Fortress Craft, and maybe YouTube isn't for you. Ouch, right? That stings. It's a hard reality to face. It's like, man, maybe what I want to do just isn't what you're meant to do. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. If this is what you want to do, let's give it a real fucking shot. And I told myself that I was gonna upload a video every day for a year. And if after that my channel wasn't where I wanted it to be, I would quit. I would end my channel and say, you know what, I gave it a real shot. I gave it the old college try, and a few months later, I ended up signing with Machinima. They brought me on the Machinima Respawn, and a few months later, Borderlands 2 hit. And after that year, I went from 4,000 subscribers to somewhere around 15 to 20,000 in 1 year just from daily uploading. So it goes to show that sometimes perseverance actually does pay off. And you know, it also it makes me wonder and begs the question to how many other YouTubers out there quit making videos or gave up on their channel when they were only a few months away from their big breaks too. Ouch. And that brings us to the next question from Andy Lorenzo, who wants to know if I cop shoes based off of hype. Man, come on, man. You should know that question already, but nah, man. I never really been into things that were, you know, quote unquote hyped up for most of my life. In fact, I used to actually make a habit to actively avoid things that were popular just because it annoyed me that everyone was talking about, oh my god, Mac was a hipster. I know it sounds like I used to be a hipster, but I really wasn't a hipster, alright? It's just that sometimes you get so tired of hearing the same fucking repertoire of shit from so many people that you just get to the point to where you're like, you know what? Fuck that show and everybody that likes that fucking show. That's happened a lot in my life, honestly. Or people were just like, oh my god, you gotta blah 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 the blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I don't. Not only am I not gonna blah 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 the blah blah blah, but I'm gonna make sure that none of my friends from this point on blah 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 the blah 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 because of how annoying that you were being about that shit, motherfucker. How about that? But when it comes to shit that I spend my money on and not just watch on the TVs, I make sure that I'm gonna get exactly what the fuck I want, whether or not it's hyped, and I feel like people that feed the hype beast are doing themselves a huge disservice, because instead of finding out what they truly enjoy in life, they spend their time, their valuable time, living and emulating others, and they become this weird, horrible amalgamation of everything in pop culture. And you know what you end up becoming? You become one of those kids in the late 90s that you saw walking around looking like a goddamn Eminem clone. You know, with the platinum blonde hair, walking around saying that they're the real Slim Shady, but they ain't even a real version of them goddamn selves. So nah, walk your own path, man. Don't feed the hype. You'll thank me later on when everyone else is in their 30s and they're trying to find a sense of their real identity, but they just kind of end up being a sad, pathetic shell of a person trying to act like what the kids are into in their 20s because they never developed their own personal style or tastes growing up in their own lives. And now we come to a question that Guy Garrett has been asking for like 5 fucking weeks in a row. That doesn't mean that it's not a good question. I didn't choose his question during that time, not because it's not a good question, but just because it would take too long to answer in a Q&A. But I think because the other 2 questions went on longer than they normally should, we're somewhere probably around like 11 and a half minutes on this video, I think we could just keep this Q&A short with 3 questions this week. And I'm going to give Guy the time that I need to answer his question. And he wants to know, what was the hardest video for you to make? I'm pretty sure it's obvious that the hardest vids for me to make on YouTube was my Road to 30. But not for the obvious reasons that you would think. Especially if you've already watched my Road to 30, you know that my journey through life up until this point has been, how do you say, a little rather non-conventional in means, to say the least. But yeah, I haven't walked the easiest road in life, and talking about my past at that time wasn't as easy as it is now. In fact, doing my Road to 30 helped me get over a lot of my past issues by, being able to make these videos for you and look at some of my experience, not just from an outer perspective, but from the first time I was looking at my life from an adult perspective. And it really did wonders for, trying to figure out some of the things that happened in my life, why, and, who I am today because of it. But honestly, I gotta say, the hardest part of doing my Road to 30 wasn't just dealing with my past issues in life. It actually goes back to the first question of this video, that when people start watching new series or new content on your channel, there's a very real possibility of one of 4 things happening. 1, it could skyrocket, be the best series ever on your channel, which the Road to 30 really did bring a lot of new subscribers, people to my channel, give a lot of perspective on exactly the person that I am, so that was the best case scenario. The rest, number 2, it could do alright, but not the best. 3, it could be a series that people watched and just plain didn't enjoy. Or 4, the worst of all of these is no one will watch it at all. And that's for any series on YouTube, not just like one that you're gonna put a lot of heart and soul into, but any series that you start. Those are 4 possibilities that could happen. But when you're talking about something as personal as a life story, your life story, 3 options out of those 4 are scary as fuck. You know, nobody wants to sit down and put their entire heart and soul into their life story and have no one listen, or worse, listen and not care at all. So, you know, it was a huge risk for me personally, especially, you know, when you have a fucked up story like mine, to go out on a limb and bear everything that you've gone through in life in great detail, and, you know, to have no one care about your story at all. That's one thing that humans put a lot of stock in, you know, is our story. It's all we have at the end of the day, you know. So when you go from being the main character of your story every day, you're the most important person that will ever be in your life, and you share that with other people, only to realize that you're not really the main character of your own story at all. You're just an NPC in other people's lives. That would be fucking devastating, you know? So I think the biggest risk I've ever taken on YouTube was putting myself out there in that way. Really, like no other YouTuber has done before, in such detail about their lives. So, yeah, I think emotionally, the Road to 30 series was probably the hardest videos I've ever had to make. Just because there's a possibility that some people might not have gave a fuck. That would be hard to deal with. If you want to know what the actual hardest video to edit was, hands down, that would either be my Hero and the Stranger 2-part series I did for Destiny, or my MorninAfterKill videos. Just because I have to pull out all my filming equipment, I have to get out of the closet the shoes that are stacked up in there sky fucking high, and I got my little Japanese shader so you guys don't see the cats running around in the back, and, you know, the way the film can actually, you know, focus on the shoes instead of shit behind it. It's a real fucking hassle to make those MorninAfterKill videos, but I enjoy doing it, which is why I've been setting up my shed as a makeshift recording studio for those videos, and that's why I haven't made a MorninAfterKill vid in about 2 weeks. I've been setting that all up, and once I get the shed shorted out. Did you hear that? I'm not even gonna cut that. I'm gonna leave that shit up in there. Yeah, once I get the shed sorted out this week, I'll make a video of, you know, what the shed looks like for you guys, and, you know, give you a little bit of behind the scenes here at MAKxton, which is just my house with a couple rooms in it that are for me to make videos in. So, my name is Jay. MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. If you could leave a thumbs up on the video, I'd highly appreciate it, because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that watch my motherfucking videos. But don't forget, in the comment section down below, leave your questions or next week's Q&A. Not your goddamn cues. There's no one to give a piece of this A. We've talked about that in this video already. Guys, don't watch. It makes me sad. I'm just fucking with you guys. But yeah, it was a hard thing to put myself out there for that Road to 30 for you guys. But I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because my Road to 30 is pretty much like the quintessential series on my channel. Like if you took a Venn diagram of all the people that's watched shit on my channel, the Road to 30 is really like where the entire community of the MorninAfter community just comes together in a nice singularity nebulous of viewership. So my name's Jay, MorninAfterKill. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys later.